Hello YouTube, this is Coded Steel and welcome to your 5th tutorial in the C programming language. Today we're going to discuss floats, and if we have time I will discuss chars, but floats first. So first of all guys, we have these things called ints, which are capable of storing whole numbers such as 15 and 2. But we also have capability in C to store store decimals. So I showed you guys this keyword in the first tutorial, the float variable. It's capable of holding numbers like 1.768 or something like that, and like 2.987. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this code, and I'm going to show you guys how that addition thumbs out here. So we're going to compile and run that. So, oh, and another thing, guys, I still have my sum as an int. So 1.768 and 2.987 is not 4. It's actually a little more than 4. So let me switch that. Sorry about that. Let's try that again. Oh. And you gotta, whenever you're doing a floating variable, you have to use %f, which is telling C that you want to format it as a float. I'm sorry guys, should not be making these mistakes. There we go. Now we have the sum is 4.755. So that's the addition of the two numbers that we have there. So we can also do subtraction just to show you guys how that works. You also still do the %f for floating it. See, and this one comes out negative because 2.987 is greater than 1.768, so you get a negative result. So you can also get negatives with floats too. So I'm not going to show you guys multiplication or division because there's really no point in doing that. But basically, you know, they work the same. So you can actually do a lot of handy things with floats, and we'll probably in our later tutorials I'll actually show you guys how floats work a little more. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to something called chars. That's just, we're going to be done with floats for this tutorial. So now the char variables. I showed you guys what a char was in the second tutorial, I believe it was, when I introduced variable types. But a char is, as I was telling you, is something you would use to like hold a letter or something like that. So if we per se wanted to go ahead and say create a char called, you know, I don't know, result or something, we can go ahead and send this char, put this char equal to something, and the way you set a char equal to something is not like what you would think before, like you, or like when we set it equal to 9 before or something. Like, you don't do it that way. You actually have to put two little hash marks that tells C you want to store this character information in this variable. Again guys, if you remove the hash marks, C gets confused and it thinks you're trying to store a number, because that's how the way of a number is stored. So just remember, when you're trying to store a character inside of a character variable, you have to put the hash marks like this. So now, if I went ahead and I said, let's actually just get rid of this variable here. There's no point in having that. And now we're going to go ahead and print the result of G out. And guys, we should get U because that's what we stored in it. And there you have it. The sum is U, but obviously the char is U. That's what we're trying to say, is the character is U. So now obviously you could do a lot more with chars. You could go ahead and you could string words together with them. So I could actually like store like the word, let's just say up or something like that. I don't know. Something easy. Okay, and then I can say get rid of this, and I can tell C %C, and then do G and Y, and this should return up, like the word up. So let's see what it does. There we go, up. So obviously this gives the this is a way of going ahead and entering letters in, such that, you know, with variables you can store numbers in. Now with chars you can store characters in. This adds a little more flexibility to some of the programming that we'll be doing later. This may not make much sense to you guys why this is useful now, but I promise you in a later tutorial this will all make sense. It'll make sense as to why this can be useful, being able to store characters inside of variables, character variables. So anyways, now you guys should know how to store characters inside of a character variable. So that's all there is for this tutorial. Next time we're actually going to get into some of the more complex stuff called control statements, and those are things called if loops, while loops, for loops. We're probably going to start with the else if structure first. So anyway, as I said, that's all I have this time. Thanks guys for watching. All right, bye.